And we're live talking about Canada soccer releasing its women's roster for the November window. They'll be facing Japan in two official friendlies. I know there was some confusion about that as we came in, but we have two friendlies that are confirmed, and this is the roster for that. We have Marie-Yasmine Aledou, Simia Wujo, Emily Burns, Sydney Collins, Sabrina D'Angelo, Jessie Fleming, Vanessa Gilles, Julia Grosso, Jordan Huitema, Florian Jourde, Ashley Lawrence, Adriana Leon, Marie Levasseur, Nichelle Prince, DB Pridham, Emma Regan, Jade Riviere, Jade Rose, Kaylin Sheridan, Janine Sonis, Evelyn Vienne, Holly Ward, and Shalina Zadorsky. Guys, welcome to the Africans. We do primarily Canadian African content. So if you like any of those two things, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment on what you're excited about for this Canadian women's roster. There's a lot going on. Congratulations to Gotham FC for winning the NWSL. And right now, as I'm recording, Vancouver Whitecaps are up on LAFC 2-0, the first half of the quarterfinal matchup in the MLS playoffs. But we're here to talk about this. And I think the first thing that I'll notice is DB Pridham finally gets her call after an outstanding NSL season. She gets her call up to the national team, which will be, I think it was well deserved based off her play. I will, though, say on an NSL standpoint, I do think Michaela Small deserved a call up. I know we're trying to just, go through this with a fine tooth comb, but with players like Simia Wujo back, the midfield is a little bit more crowded, but I do wonder how crowded it should be. That's a later video that we'll talk about. But DB Pridham, the Golden Boot winner of the NSL in the team. Marie Aledou back with the side as well. Sydney Collins, another repeat call up. That's great. And Simi Wujo back with the squad as well. Emily Burns, I don't think I expected her to come back for another camp, but I think it's a good sign for her. Being able to be in the side. And it's two friendlies against Japan. Another big note with this setup is that Casey Stoney will not be with the side. She's dealing with some family issues. And when I read and found out what they were, to me, it hits a little bit close to home. I also was a family member who had to partake and be a bit of a caretaker as well. So I know that feeling quite well. So I do have sympathies, and I send all the vibes, all the thoughts, everything towards them in this difficult time. But when we look at this roster, Aledou, Owujo, Julia Grosso, Jessie Fleming. I know Aledou is going to be finding herself more so on the outside, as well as a Florian Jourde, but the roster in the middle is starting to get very interesting. There were some interesting notes that were set up in the press conference following, especially anything from the likes of something like Chloe Lacasse was put on a no call, so she had restrictions. She couldn't come anytime in 2025. So odds are we won't see Chloe Lacasse until 2026. Some of the college students weren't called up just to make sure they could have full availability for next year, which, I mean, you look at the college names. I mean, Noel Henning, I know Briggs and Chukwu are the big names, but don't forget, you look at Wisconsin with Ella Ati and Jadea Collins. Look at Iowa with Tarasco. Names like Nia Rose. Names like Ebo Ching. And we could keep going and naming. But I think there's a lot of young players that, based off of the years that they've had, could be pushing. And especially going to a World Cup qualifying year, it's going to be a very interesting balance to see what can come through from it. But in this camp, I'm very curious to see what happens. I think for starters, in the left back position, um, I think right now Jade Rivera is probably in some of her best form of the year, playing well at Manchester United. At left back, I wonder what the team does. Right? Do we go back to Ashley Lawrence? Do we get Sydney Collins another run? Do we try to find some more fullback options? Is it a Gabby Carl situation again where maybe she's a player not in this camp, but could be a player that you look at and say maybe they'll be in the running for what comes in 2026? But whether it's Marie Levasseur, or rather that it's a Sydney Collins, or maybe they ask uh, Janine Sonis to come up and fill into that space. I do wonder how they want to attack it. With no Casey Stoney, are we going to see a 4-4-2? Will we see a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1? If that's the case, how do we want to set them up? Do we want to put a Simi Wujo further up the pitch? Is it a Jesse Fleming in that space? The more I watch Fleming, I wonder for a national team if she suits more in that double pivot role versus going further up the pitch. I know we want to see her further up and contributing, but we'll have to wait. Another question that seems to be plaguing Canadian senior national teams: who's going to score the goals? Yes, DB Pridham is the big name, but can Adrian Leon provide some more scoring? Can Marielle do provide some scoring and attacking prowess there? Do we get some of the young players, Florian Jord, Holly Ward? Why can they do something? Will Evelyn Vienne get some run finally against a very formidable Japan side in both matchups? I'm sure there'll be some rotation in both games. But these players will be playing against very much similar competition, and for them now, this is an opportunity to really push up the fullback position. I'm curious, and the striker position. I'm curious, what can they come and what can they get out of them? I'm very much intrigued. And with Vanessa Gilles back, you have Vanessa Gilles, Jelena Zadorsky, Jade Rose. Dare I say, could we see a back three? We'll have to wait and see. Most definitely. But that's the roster as it is. You guys let me know what you think about it. And as always, quick recording. We'll stop talking right here.